What's up, everybody? Couple of things before we get to the show. If you're ever in San Antonio and maybe you want to play a quick round of golf, maybe get some driving practice in, maybe grab a couple of beers and grab a bite to eat at the clubhouse, well then check out San Pedro Driving Range and Par 3 course. They have, of course, a clubhouse with a wide selection of food and beer, and they have day passes and night passes for their driving range and their golf course. So if you're ever in that area, check them out. And if you do go there, tell them that Collateral Cinema sent you. And our podcast shout-out is an awesome horror movie podcast hosted by Alex West and Andrea Subrassati. It's called the Faculty of Horror Podcast, and they touch on everything that is horror. I'm talking everything from The Thing to Audition to Gremlins to The Witch. They've done all kinds of awesome horror movies, and they give an academic spin to everything that we love about horror. And I highly recommend you check them out. You can find them on Twitter, you can find them on Facebook, and you can find them wherever you get your podcasts. And so definitely check them out. I highly recommend it. And once again, check out San Pedro Driving Range and Par 3 course. And with all that out of the way, on with the show. I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
This is Collateral Cinema. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We are podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, be it blunts, be it joints, be it bowls, whatever, smoke it if you've got it. And my, have we been smoking it? Well, not everybody here, but you know how it is, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. Sent from my iPhone.
Right?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah, how's 2019 going for you guys so
Terrible.
far? Woo!
Hey, no negativity.
No negativity, motherfucker.
You want to have a good year? Be positive about it.
Be positive, exactly.
Who says I want a good year?
Well, you could just fucking leave.
Yeah, out the door, motherfucker, right now.
We don't need your negativity.
Hell no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are checking out a very interesting movie for our first episode of 2019. We are checking out a little movie from 10 years ago. It was directed by Kyle Newman, and it is a love letter to Star Wars fandom. It is Fanboys. We watched this movie maybe about a week or two ago, and Robert is the one who suggested we do this movie. Robert, why did you bring this movie to the podcast?
For one thing, I know Dakota and Ash were Star Wars geeks, and, you know, I thought everybody could relate a little bit to this film, you know?
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, and Ash, Dakota, what did y'all think about this movie?
I loved it. Being a person who's always grown up watching Star Wars, you know, it was really good. I saw a lot of actors that I knew, so it kind of brought me to it. I liked it a lot.
Awesome. How about you, Ash?
I think it was a love letter to Star Wars fans, like you said, and also to fandoms in general. The characters I was invested in as well.
The characters are very interesting. They are played by some very noteworthy actors, actually. Sam Huntington, who was in The Girl Next Door, right?
Sam Huntington?
Yeah, the comedy one, not the fucked up Jack Ketchum one. We have to clarify.
That's Linus's character.
That's Linus's character?
Yeah, Chris Marquette.
Chris Marquette?
Was the girl next door. Sam Huntington was
Okay, I stand corrected then.
Detroit Rock City.
Oh, that's right, Detroit Rock City.
Tim Allen's Jungle to Jungle. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. Was he the kid in that movie?
Yeah, he's the kid.
Oh, my God. That movie is so fucking racist. That movie is terrible,
Not
honestly.
another teen movie. And
That's a good movie, though. Very overrated parody. Or underrated, I should say.
Yeah, I know Sam Huntington from that stupid TV show on Netflix, Being Human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
I
I just watched it with my family once.
I can't say I've seen that yet, honestly. But maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. And yeah, Sam Huntington from Detroit Rock City and Chris Marquette, he was the one
Girl
from
Next Door.
Girl Next Door.
And
yeah.
Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds. Right?
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Right on. And Kristen Bell is in this as well.
Oh, Kristen Bell.
Yeah. Kristen Bell is awesome.
She's a hottie.
Great
Yeah, I
movie.
remember
She's a-
seeing her in Heroes. That was my
Heroes.
favorite appearance for her.
Dakota and I have
Oh, yeah?
watched Heroes so many times.
I can't say I've really seen Heroes,
So
honestly.
like forgetting Sarah Marshall. Or
Oh, yeah. What part did she play? Was she Sarah Marshall or was she someone else?
I forgot, but Jason Segel's in that movie.
Yeah.
She's also in Bad Moms, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw
Oh,
that movie
wow.
theater.
And she was at the beginning of The Disaster Artist.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Once again, we've come back to the Room in the Disaster Artist on Collateral Cinema.
It never goes away.
No, it will never go away. It will never go away.
It will always be in our hearts.
Exactly. And Dan Fogler, he was in Balls of Fury, right?
Yeah.
That
film.
fucking movie.
Was it Randy Daytona?
Yeah, Randy Daytona. That is not a subtle name at all for a character. That's almost worse than Pistachio Disguisey.
Who's your daddy?
Ah, damn it. And Jay Baruchel, he was the really, really nerdy kid, right? The
Yeah.
virgin.
Remember
I know him
Freaks
from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah,
voice
yeah.
for Hiccup.
Hey,
That
that's awesome,
voice is
actually.
unmistakable.
Yeah.
and Freaks and Geeks, Undeclared.
Yes, he was Freaks and Geeks.
So that is actually a pretty impressive cast, along with a bunch of cameos that we're going to get into a little later on. We won't drop any names just yet, but man, there are some glorious cameos in this movie. Fucking amazing. Only thing that would have been better is if Stan Lee would have shown up somewhere.
Yeah.
Just in there somewhere.
I think
Yeah.
we're all thinking that, right?
Exactly.
The ultimate cameo.
Rest
would've-
in peace.
Maybe like in
Stanley.
the Star Trek convention in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. That would have been perfect. And everybody would have been like, why the fuck are you here?
I just like cameos.
Yeah, like in Teen Titans Go,
Yeah.
the movie.
Stanley doesn't need a reason to have a cameo.
Oh, of course not. Even from beyond the grave, he's going to find a way.
He'll make any movie better.
Yeah, I bet you that there's going to be ghostly apparitions of Stan Lee in Marvel movies for years to come.
Yeah, the cameo scene in Into the Spider-Verse, that was touching.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet. It's pretty highly recommended, of course.
Good.
Oh yeah, I think it just won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a portent of some Oscar gold. Who knows?
See, obviously, just like the main characters of this movie, we're all fanboys.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
In one way or another. I mean, many of us were fanboys in many, many different ways, though. You know, like I've always been traditionally, of course, a movie buff, but also an anime and manga nerd, although I don't really indulge in it all that much anymore, to tell the truth. I know that you two do. You two weebs.
Mostly Ash.
Yeah, mostly me.
I play video games and watch a lot of TV shows.
Yeah, we're,
Hell
we're, we're
yeah.
gamers. That's why we started Collateral Gaming.
Oh, yeah, of course. Gaming. Collateral Gaming. Our new gaming podcast hosted by the Chancellor Brothers.
Obligatory shout out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, we gotta promote that.
Listen to our podcast. Please.
Yeah, give them a listen. It's a lot of fun. Also, Country Club. Shout out to
Country
them.
Club.
Shout out to y'all. Michael, Sam. Hell yeah. Check them out. Now, onto this movie in and of itself. Robert, you actually took some notes on the movie. Go ahead and tell us, what do you think are some of the more memorable scenes of this movie? You have some of it written down here.
You know, the opening of the movie
Yeah.
where it's the Star Wars credits and it leads to the Halloween party.
Oh, that's so
And-
perfect.
You know, Sam Huntington's character hadn't seen his friend since high school, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And have the countdown for episode 1 and they're just waiting on that.
Oh, man, wasn't that a magical time in history? In movie history.
Yeah. What were you guys doing in 98?
I wasn't born yet.
I was 3 years old.
Ha 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 ha. You guys are just babies.
Yeah.
Baby face.
Baby face.
You know what?
That was the greatest thing because it was pretty much the last time you saw Liam Neeson
Yeah.
in a movie, you know?
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, it was after Phantom Menace that he had to dip out for a little while,
Yeah.
right?
And then coming back, doing the Taken, you know?
Oh, Taken was great.
Reintroducing him again.
Yeah, but I feel that he got really, really typecast after Taken, though. That's something that I kind of
He's just
feel.
a badass now.
It seems like he's kind of playing the same character in every movie now. He's already at that point.
They parodied that in Daddy's Home too.
Oh yeah?
They go to watch a movie in a theater with Liam Neeson, and they actually get his voice. He doesn't make a physical appearance, but his voice is there,
oh
and
my
he's
God,
like
it's
this
just his
generic badass who reunites with his family, and
Yep.
it's really humorous.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
That's another great movie, or multiple movies. This
Yeah.
Daddy's Home.
It made me laugh.
Yeah, but that opening Halloween party is just so perfect because I love how, homeboys, they come in as Darth Vader and stormtroopers, and everybody was just like, seriously, again?
Which
Yeah.
is the same thing last
Same-
year.
Same thing as last year.
It was a great introduction of all the characters. You got to see how they are.
Yeah.
They're geeks, and it's great.
The exposition was done well.
It was, yeah. It felt very natural.
Natural.
It wasn't forced in any way. I mean, it just kind of flowed from the characters themselves.
And you still got a good glimpse of each character's personality from the outset.
Yeah, exactly. Another one of the scenes that I really, really, really liked was the Star Trek scene. That was with the Star Trek fans, and that was in
yes.
Idaho or Iowa?
Iowa.
Where they make their detour, right?
Fucking Iowa.
Yeah, they're headed to Texas to go get the blueprint for the Star Trek.
Yeah,
place.
yeah. That's right. That's
and
right.
then they detour to Iowa.
Why would you detour to Iowa?
Make
Jesus
fun of some
Christ.
Trekkies.
Yeah.
The only good thing that came from Iowa is Slipknot. Pretty much, that's it. Or I think Mudvayne is from. No, Mudvayne's from Illinois, right? Are they from Illinois or Iowa?
I'm not really sure.
Hey, James T. Kirk came from Iowa. Better shut your mouth.
Oh, did I just get told off by Ash on the podcast that I am fronting?
Oh,
Post up, Bo.
I have just been challenged.
Well, Dakota and I are both Star Wars and Star Trek geeks.
Yes, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Doctor Who.
Yeah, that whole scene where there was that conflict between the Star Wars and Star Trek fans was so perfect. And in many ways, it may have kind of prophetic, actually. Especially with the way that fandom has become these days. But we're going to get into that later on as well. Now, the main thing behind the character's actual plan here is that Chris Marquette's character, Linus, it turns out that he's dying, right?
yeah.
It's cancer.
Yeah. And that's a pretty noble thing to do for your friend, is try to get them to see something that they really, really love one last time. I mean,
Yeah, they've been planning that trip since they were kids.
yeah,
His dream
exactly.
come true.
Hell yeah, and that's a hell of a road trip, It's almost a pilgrimage in a way.
Yeah, let's go on a road trip, guys.
Oh, God, where would we even go?
California, obviously.
California?
Cali? God
That's
damn.
what I'm thinking.
Colorado.
San
Hell yeah.
Francisco.
Hell yeah. All the places where weed is legal. All right? Every place that weed is legal, we're going to have to go to. Like, definitely California.
Now we need to go to Rhode Island.
Yeah, Rhode Island would be interesting. There was a dude that came into the store all the time that we work at. He definitely had that Rhode Island accent. He almost sounded exactly like Peter fucking Griffin. I swear to God, they do have that kind of accent.
You mean Seth MacFarlane?
Or yeah, Seth MacFarlane. Yeah, exactly. Did he actually grow up in Rhode Island?
I have no idea.
I think he grew up on the East Coast in that general, New England area. Oh yeah, Seth MacFarlane's still pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, great voice actor.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, his character has cancer, and throughout the movie, he doesn't really take care of himself that well, does he? Like
No.
he actually ends up in the hospital again at one point.
Yeah,
Right.
I think he fell out of a car.
Yeah, and
yeah.
he just fainted. And I mean, it does add an extra little layer of urgency to the movie,
Like his time's running out,
Yeah, and urgency that's needed, especially since you're already starting with a countdown to Phantom Menace, you know? So it's both a countdown to the movie and a countdown to Linus's end, kind of,
Yeah.
you know? Because once he watches the movie, after that scene, we don't see him again.
Yeah.
You know,
So you could say a theme of this movie would have been urgency.
Yeah, urgency and, you know,
He needs to see it.
the passage of
So-
time as well. That's definitely a theme of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is some kick-ass guac you whipped up, man.
I feel funny, tingly. I feel good. This is cool. I don't think we're eating your everyday garden variety guacamole.
I've got recipe for emerald, avocado, onion, chopped garlic, and the cheese ingredient. You're not right beside you. She's up in your leg. She's up in your leg. She's up in your leg. Death is but a path to life, a passage to the stars, to the universe.
I know what you mean. You mean the Force.
The Force. That's my dad. It's gonna kill me. I get to work on Monday.
It's a very relatable theme. I mean, it's something that we've all had our groups of friends back in the day that we geeked out with. And as time goes on, you know, I mean, sometimes people drift apart. Sometimes they come back around and they get into the same things again. And that's very much what this movie is about. That's exactly what happens with these guys, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about themes. You know, my mom would be proud. She's an English teacher.
Oh, yeah. That's right. We do get into thematic elements, even with the bad movies. Although this is not a bad movie at
Yeah,
all.
This is one of those. This is put it on, watch it with your friends every now and then.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I would actually love to watch this movie again. And it's very much because of the characters. It's a character-driven
Yeah.
movie.
A lot of us can relate to these characters, right?
Oh, definitely. I
Yes.
mean,
That's why we're
Yeah.
going on a road trip.
I'm a major geek.
aren't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're doing this podcast, right? And why we're doing Collateral Gaming and everything. You know, I mean, this is just total geek love here.
It's 2019. I don't want any labels.
Oh, whatever, man. Oh,
just
my
kidding. I'm
God.
okay
You
with the
get
geek
your
label.
woke shit out of here.
Jesus
I'll
Christ.
take a geek label. I like that one.
Yeah, the geek label is definitely something that, in many ways, you can wear with pride. In other ways, yeah.
As long as you don't call me a weeaboo, I'll be fine.
Weeaboo. Weeaboos. Everywhere. Don't worry, I used to be kind of weeb myself. A little bit.
Back in the day.
Back in the day,
In the day.
when anime meant something, right? Gundam Wing.
Oh yeah.
Akira.
Yeah, all that shit. You see, here we are. We're geeking out on Fanboys, man. It's like, that's what's up. That's what's great about this movie. It actually kind of leads people to talk about their favorite fandom and what they're passionate about. in many
Yeah, we've
ways.
already met some of our requirements for this podcast.
Oh my God, we just have phones dropping everywhere. It's total chaos.
It's raining phones.
It's chaos and conspiracy or something.
Just conspiracies, single bullet theories everywhere.
But we've met some of the requirements for a good podcast. You know, we have a room reference.
Uh-huh.
We've already geeked out.
Uh-huh. All you have to do is just completely fail to fact check anything and we're complete.
But you know, geeking out, that's the spirit of this film.
Yeah, definitely. And it's something that actually makes me kind of nostalgic about back in the day, you know, and, you know, playing games or going and watching movies with your friends all the time. I mean, it really just kind of brings back that whole magical vibe of it.
The
all,
90s.
you know? Especially the 90s, late 90s. I mean, late 90s, that was where I was about 16, 17, around that time. I turned 18 on 2001.
Ooh.
Or 2000, actually. It was 2000. That's when I came of age. So, yeah, I'm actually very nostalgic about that period right there, like mid to late 90s.
Yeah, when I first saw this movie, I was, preconceived to feel like it was a parody Star Wars movie,
Yeah.
like Spaceballs or something, right? But then you watch it and you realize it's a really good movie. And it's just funny. They're talking about the Star Wars and it being, a geekdom, be a fanboy, but it's like you're in the spirit.
Yeah.
That's good.
And there's a level of reverence to it as
Yeah.
well, like especially with the cameos, right, Robert?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man, and what wonderful cameos they are. We'll definitely get into that a little bit later.
When Robert mentioned this to me, I was kind of thinking like Dakota, like a Galaxy Quest kind of thing.
Oh
but
yeah.
this is its own self-contained tale. You don't
Yeah.
have to have any existing knowledge of Star Wars, but I think it's made better if you understand that fandom or any fandom.
Exactly. I mean, it's very much about love for fandom itself.
Right.
You know?
Except Star Trek, apparently.
Oh, except Star Trek, of course.
There's even a little bit of love for that in there.
Oh,
Especially
of
with
course.
the cameos.
Yeah. Which, once again, we're going to get into here in a little bit. No, nobody spoil yet. Straight up. And yeah, their initial plan is to go to Skywalker Ranch and steal an early rough cut copy of Phantom Menace. Robert, I mean, would you try to do that?
Huh.
And how would you do it?
Yeah, if we had the chance to meet up with William Shatner, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that'd be great.
Well, there we go. We already spoiled one of them. Way to
Sorry.
go.
Boo.
Boo.
Get out of here, Robert.
Sorry.
Boo.
Go home, Robert.
Maybe later.
Go home, you junk.
Maybe later.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
Exactly. That's right, loser.
Loser.
We're going shopping. We're going to buy Star Wars movies. And we're going to geek out on all of them.
I'm totally down to do a Star Wars marathon.
That
Why
would
haven't
be
we done
awesome.
Like I'm thinking prequels and then Solo. What was
Yeah.
the other one? Rogue One.
One.
And
Rogue
then
One.
the original and then the sequels.
Hell yeah. That would actually be pretty primo. Like in order, like it's
In
supposed
order,
to be in
yep.
sequential order.
In episode order.
That would be fucking awesome, dude.
I don't understand anyone that watches in release order.
Yeah.
No.
The episodes were numbered for a reason.
Yeah, it's so you can go through the whole storyline and everything. Yeah, and then there's the extended universe, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and the extended universe is something that I think is really, really rife for more cinematic exposure. I think. I just wish Disney didn't have their hands on it, because there's some actual stories in the Star Wars universe that are almost like horror films. I think there's even one that's pretty much like a zombie movie
Really?
type. Yeah. If I recall, I mean, if there's anybody who's into the Star Wars extended universe out there, y'all can totally correct us on Twitter. I mean, by all means.
Expanded universe is called Legends now.
Oh, really?
And then there's canon as now redefined.
Oh,
and
I see.
That I think just pretty much includes the movies, the Clone Wars series,
Yeah.
Rebels. I think that's the only canon now.
Yeah, and this movie has to fit in somewhere. Fanboys.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Right before Phantom Menace.
Yeah, that's
There
what
you go.
this is. You know, this is the origins of the galaxy far, far away that
Yes.
eventually leads to Star Wars. There you go. That's right. Fan theory locked in.
Damn.
Damn it, man.
Still remember Y2K. Damn.
But
Oh,
that's
man.
just a theory. A fan theory.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Matt Pat.
So, what'd you guys think of Star Trek?
The original series is the best by far.
By far. I remember watching them on G4 TV for a while. They started off with the
Spike.
original series, and then I think they got into Next Generation for a little while.
Hey,
Next
don't talk shit
Generation's
about
pretty
Next Gen.
good, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
love
great.
Next Generation.
Like the movies for
I actually prefer Picard, honestly.
I like his intellect.
Oh yeah, he has a real cutting intellect, and he's also reasonable as well. Very reasonable person.
He
I like
doesn't just woo
Spock.
all the ladies.
Spock was great.
Spock's my favorite.
Man, rest in peace, Nimoy.
I know.
Rip.
Oh man, That broke my heart. I was sitting at a Mexican restaurant and watching TV when I saw that he passed away. I was like, ah, damn it.
Damn it.
And unfortunately, one of the celebrities in this movie passed away. We'll get to that.
Stop teasing everybody, Bo.
I love teasing people about these celebrity cameos,
Trying
man.
to stretch it.
No, we're not trying to stretch it.
No,
We're just having some fun with people.
We are.
Got to put a little foreplay in there.
What about the Star Trek movies with Chris Pine?
Oh, you mean like the reboots?
Yeah, those.
Hey,
Those are
those
great.
three of
I
those?
like them.
Yeah, I have no problem with them, honestly.
Yeah, they are pretty good. You ever
Yeah.
seen Horrible Bosses 2?
No.
Dude, he's in there. It's freaking hilarious.
Oh,
and
really?
Zachary Quinto was Spock. He was a pretty good Spock,
One,
to be honest.
You think so?
I think so.
See, I haven't really seen the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies.
Oh, and of course, that's right. J.J. Abrams. I haven't seen anything that he's made that's not like a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
J.J. Abrams, director.
he generally knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
He made
did.
for the
Heroes.
most part.
The Rocky.
He-
I mean,
He didn't do Heroes.
the Karate
he did.
Kid. Original
J.J.
Karate
Abrams?
Kid.
Wasn't he a creator of Lost?
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard he was involved in the beginning, but he didn't stay
Yeah.
on. the
Oh, I
whole
see.
Show. But yeah, Abrams, he is a good example of both a Star Wars and a Star Trek fan because I think, at least in my opinion, he's done justice to both series. I like the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, of course.
I think I can see the criticism for The Last Jedi, but I still like it.
Oh man, that's a whole nother shit show, man. Like seriously.
I was wrong. It's Jadeville Abbott's.
And
Who
J.J.
is
Abrams
it?
might not have done
Yeah,
Heroes.
I was wrong. I was wrong. Sorry, guys.
I might have been wrong too.
Wrong about what?
I thought it was AJ Avildsen or something.
AJ Avildsen?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not J.J. Abrams.
it's John Avildsen. I think that's his name, right?
Is it?
I think
Damn it,
so.
we need to do our homework again.
well,
sorry.
God damn it! It's on the title of the episode that we did. I mean, shit.
Yeah, it's a good thing I looked because I was wrong about J.J. Abrams doing Heroes too.
Oh,
Tim Kring.
See, now we're actually doing some fact checking.
I should have
Nice.
done this beforehand, huh?
Yeah. See, now there we are. We are full circle now. We have dropped the ball on fact checking.
Once again, it's okay.
Collateral cinema in action.
We're only human.
No, we're not.
We need to be more than human.
Yeah, we need to be robots on this. We're like calculating robots on this show.
Like,
Not really.
We need to be Stephen Hawking.
I'm gonna be superhuman.
Superhuman movie analysis or something like that. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Now, how did they get the floor plans to Skywalker Ranch in this?
They have to go through a test, right? When they meet up with Rogue Leader.
Oh yeah,
And-
Rogue Leader, and that's a hilarious scene.
Find out it's just a little girl.
10-year-old little girl who
10-year-old.
happens to be
Henry Knowles.
Henry Knowles'
right?
niece. Henry Knowles, you.
I can't believe you talked about J.J. Abrams and didn't say that he was the director of The Force Awakens.
Oh, that's right. He
Oh,
was,
wow.
wasn't he?
I literally just talked about the sequel series
Oh.
while you
paying
were on
attention.
your phone fact checking.
God damn it, Dakota. See, now we were creating new problems for ourselves. Jesus Christ, guys.
But yeah, he did The Force Awakens, and he's gonna do Episode 9.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
I think he's still kind of heading the whole trilogy as a whole. But even though he had Ryan Johnson come in and do the last one,
Yeah. Ryan John, that's how you pronounce his name, Ryan?
I believe so. That's the only way I've ever heard it.
Oh, right on. It's like Brian, but without B.
No, there's no B. It's Ryan Johnson.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's pronounced like Brian, but without the B.
yes.
Okay, I got you. That's interesting to know. I always called him Rian Johnson or something like that.
I think it's Ryan.
Yeah. Rogue Leader happens to be a 10-year-old girl who is the niece of Harry Knowles, who, fuck that asshole, by the way. he's also a creepler, reportedly. Yeah,
Allegedly.
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 Yeah, we're not gonna go around fucking making trouble for ourselves here, because homeboy is just right up there in Austin.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
That's a short trip.
that is a short trip.
It's like 2 hours.
So,
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, he actually puts them through a test, right?
a fanboys test,
A
right?
fanboys test. Well, what were some of the questions that he asked them?
Like, what was the rebel call sign,
Oh yeah, that's right.
And what is Chewbacca's home planet, the Wookiee's home planet, Kashyyyk.
Oh yeah.
I actually knew that one.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
See, I'm not that privy to my Star Wars trivia, you know. I mean, I know some of the basics of it, but you know, that's kind of the thing with me is that honestly, I've never really became a fanboy for Star Wars or Star Trek. I could kind of go either way with it.
I think it's time for you to leave now.
Oh, really now? I don't think so.
You want to take your shirt off. You want to take your shirt off. God. You want to take that shirt off?
Asshole! You have been trying that Jedi mind shit on me since the 8th grade. It doesn't work.
Oh, it works. Tell her, Windows.
He's been geeking out with Rogue Leader all morning. Nothing can tear him away. Ah, I love the feeling of fresh air on my naked breasts. See that? Man's immune to sweater yams.
What about me? I like sweaty yams.
What'll it be, fellas?
How much for the phaser gun?
For the phaser gun? Sorry, Garfunkel. We don't hawk Trek here.
Well then, Slim, if you don't sell the Trek, then why do you have a phaser gun in the case?
We keep this one here to suss out Trekkie bitches like yourselves and tell them to get the hell off of our land. So get the hell off of our land. Get the hell off of our land! Get the hell out of here! Now! Get out of here, you Kirk-loving Spock suckers!
It's like, yeah, try me, y'all. Try me. I'm right here.
Dang it.
Do you think we could make the podcast go on without Bo?
No,
He's too important.
He's the host.
Yeah.
Who would do the editing?
He's the show. This is his show.
This is everybody's show, I think.
Wayne's World, sorry.
Wayne's World. Nah.
Another 90s we'll get into.
We'll get into that movie eventually, I think. Hopefully.
What, when Danny Carvey actually did something good?
Oh, yeah, back in those days, right?
Back in those days.
Master of Disguise ruined his career.
Oh, God, it's so terrible.
I think it ruined everyone's career. I think if you watch it, your career's ruined. Your life's ruined.
Why do you say that? We're trying to be good here. Positivity, Ash.
Positivity where positivity is due.
Yeah, and there's at least one scene where a couple of things. They have a peyote trip, and they also go to a gay bar, right?
Yeah, they had a tire blowout on their way to Texas.
And they meet one of our people in this movie that we can't talk about yet.
Yeah,
One of the
do
Cameos.
not talk about it. We already name dropped one.
Robert.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Robert.
I blame myself.
God damn it. But yeah, they meet up with a certain someone who may or may not be Danny Trejo. I may as well just go ahead and say it.
Because we don't want to talk about this scene now.
Yeah, this scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of funny to see Trejo playing a role like that. I mean, he's traditionally very, very much kind of a tough guy. Even in some of the silly roles that he's had, he kind of plays that role. But, I mean, he's actually really perfect in that.
So the fact that he shows up in a gay bar says nothing about him, right?
Oh, man, that is...
Oh, no, of course not.
Of course not.
Why would it? Dakota.
Yeah, this is 2019, Dakota.
Yeah, it's 2019, Dakota. What the
Everybody's
fuck is
gay.
wong with you?
Everybody's gay, Dakota.
Not
Oh,
him as a
jeez.
person, the character.
Oh, yeah, the character. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Fair enough. Fair enough, Dakota. You dug yourself out of that hole.
Gay is the new straight, bro. Where have you been?
And by the way, we do love our LGBT listeners if we have any.
Hey, man, love who you love.
Uh-huh, exactly.
Everybody love everybody.
But honestly, that's probably a good segue into talking about the celebrity cameos. Yes, Danny Trejo is one of them. He's at the gay bar, and that scene is fantastic.
And
Let's
the
talk about the
peyote.
scene. Yeah, with the peyote. He's the one that gives them the peyote, right?
Yeah, he gives him the peyote.
That's right.
The peyote scene. That's
Oh,
the
that is-
best part of the film.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is amazing.
Or mixes it with a guacamole, and they're just eating chips.
It made me think of an episode from Workaholics. I remember seeing one where they're on like a peyote trip.
Yeah,
I remember
I think I remember that one.
Yeah, as soon as I saw them on a trip, I was like, "That's peyote."
Straight up.
To see these
man.
geeks that probably don't smoke weed very much. They don't seem the type or do any kind of hard drugs.
More or less. But then again, I don't know. I don't think you've known the nerds that I've known back in the day.
Shit, I was collecting Pokemon back then. Shit.
Collecting Pokemon and smoking the herb. Right?
Yeah.
Damn right.
Waiting for those starter packs to come in, right?
Exactly. Although, I mean, I kind of preferred Yu-Gi-Oh! Myself.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! What do y'all know about Yu-Gi-Oh?
Dragon Ball Z
Blue-eyed
cards.
dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon? Fuck yeah. Dakota. You don't know anything about that, do you? You were born in late 90s.
Why you call me out so much, Bo?
Because it's funny to me. And you're the youngest one here.
It's all right.
It's all right, man.
He's legal.
It'll get better, man. He's legal, y'all. Yeah, that's right. He's at least legal age. Put on your big boy pants.
Take out those funny. Oh, sorry.
Oh, what? Damn it. Are you going to take that, Dakota?
They like take off your onesie. No,
Oh.
just kidding.
Say something, Dakota.
You posting up, Robert?
Ooh. God
You're
damn it.
supposed to be my friend.
You're
thought it
tearing me apart.
Friends make you weak.
Love is blind.
Love is blind. Yeah, William Shatner's scene is at the Star Trek convention, right?
Oh yeah.
Because they inadvertently run into the Star Trek convention because they were running away from Seth Rogen's character, right? The pimp, not the Star Trek nerd.
Yeah, well, two of them were.
Two
the
of
other
them
two
were.
from running from the Star
The other
Trek
two.
people.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
See, he's got
They-
two
they-
parts in this movie.
Yeah, they split up at one point, and I think a couple of them end up with some hookers or something, but they
Yes.
don't know that they're hookers, and so they
Escorts, Bo. Escorts.
Oh yeah, escorts. Excuse me, everybody.
And that's where the pimp comes into play.
Yeah,
Because they don't pay the hookers.
but I
mean,
don't know.
escorts.
I don't know in Vegas. Yeah, in Vegas, I mean, you kind of have to do the escort thing. I would probably do it once in my life. Who knows?
But he's got a rebel tattoo, and they notice, so they try to get themselves out
Yeah,
by being fellow Star Wars fans, and then they end up running from him anyway. And then he meets up with the Star Trek fans that the other ones were running away from.
And he makes
it's
fun of
actually
Han Solo.
yeah, that's right. It's actually a really really interesting scene, and then Seth Rogen's fighting Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Oh, that's so perfect. And I love the Star Trek nerd that he plays in this. He's just so uppity about it, you know? I love it. And Jay and Silent Bob themselves show up in this movie. Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes.
Yeah.
I mean, they are fucking great as well,
For the
man.
short amount of time they were in there, yeah, they did good.
Which, interestingly enough, is just another pimp and his prostitute.
Yeah.
That's where they play. It's like, wow, this is the second time that we've had a major nerd figure play a pimp and one play a prostitute. It's like, goddamn.
Hilarious.
We call them escorts now, Bo.
Well, I say prostitute. It's the same thing.
It's a label, Bo.
The
It's a
difference being-
label.
Yeah.
Oh my,
2019, remember?
oh my god.
It's a label.
Oh my god.
You think escort is more PC?
Probably.
I don't know. I would say sex worker is probably the most PC you can get on that. Sex worker.
Escort, you don't have to know they're doing sex.
Fair point, I guess. I mean, I don't know. If there's any sex workers listening to us, you're free to correct us.
God.
And sorry for calling you hookers and prostitutes.
Kill us now.
Kill us now.
Hey, sex workers, we love what you do.
Yeah, there's a necessity for them. That's for sure.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean,
That is for sure.
If you're on camera, we love what you do.
Yeah. And it's William Shatner that ends up giving them the floor plans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just like fucking icing on top.
Yes, it was
On
great
the-
because
of the
William
whole cake.
Shatner played himself. And so they knew who he was. And then they say, wait, why do you have the floor pans? And he's a secret Star Wars admirer himself.
Yeah, that's hilarious. But he still wants to undermine George Lucas.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
That's the best thing ever. He's just trying to
funny.
undermine Lucas.
That's the only celebrity cameo that plays himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher plays a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the doctor that looks at homeboy Linus after he passes out, right? In the car.
And then he makes out with her.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's perfect. Because, man, may she rest in peace, but who wouldn't have made out with Carrie Fisher? I would have.
Woo. If you had the chance.
Come on, that's Princess Leia, man. Come on now.
You want to talk about sex icons?
Yeah, right?
You're right.
Yeah, and the slave Leia costume does show up, and it's Kristen Bell wearing it.
Yes, I remember.
At the end of the movie, they're at a Star Wars convention. No, they're at the actual release
The movie,
of
yeah.
the movie,
Camping
actually.
out.
And
That's-
then the last thing that they say before they cut to the credits when they're watching the premiere is, hey guys, what if this movie totally sucks?
Oh, yeah.
Which is funny because it completely foreshadows, and I was waiting for this, the reception that Phantom Menace got.
Yeah.
Among
It kind of foreshadows it a little bit.
Of course, it gets a lot of hate, but I've heard that the majority of the fandom actually does love it. It's just the haters are more vocal.
Yeah, that's pretty much Star Wars fandom in itself. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But, I mean, there's quite a few more people that show up in this movie. Like Danny McBride is there.
Oh, yeah.
Billy D. Williams.
Yes.
Billy D. Williams.
Fuck yeah, man. Billy D. fucking Williams. The man.
So those are the two Star Wars cameos.
And
Yeah.
Darth Maul
No.
shows up. Right?
And yeah,
Oh,
no,
yep.
yeah. There's
Oh,
three of
what was
them.
his name?
Ray Parks.
Okay, there's another one.
Yeah, another phone drop. Jesus Christ, man.
Making this a habit. Nah.
Yeah.
And it was his phone twice. Both times. It was Dakota's phone.
Great job, man. But we love our co-hosts here. That's for sure.
We do it for you guys.
Yeah, we do it for y'all.
The relentless Bo.
Yeah. And we mentioned Danny McBride. He did a cameo in this. Ray Park, he was Darth Maul, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, man, that's a really awesome cameo in
He's got
itself.
a little baton scene he does too, right?
Yeah, he actually does some stunt work in this movie,
Pretty
right?
good.
Yeah, that's when they're actually in Lucas's office, and then there's that standoff that they do where they're about to destroy like priceless artifacts from the movie,
Yes.
like the original Yoda.
Oh, man.
Death
That's
Star
another
scene.
Heroes actor, right, Dakota?
Yes, it is.
Really?
It's funny because he plays a character with like dual wielding,
Oh yeah,
and he did that in this movie and in Star Wars. So it's pretty funny. He doesn't
That's-
need a stunt double.
He'll
that's
do that.
awesome.
He's a stuntman himself.
I think he'll do that at Comic Cons too.
That's cool.
That's what's up, man. Seriously,
Y'all want to go to Comic-Con?
Would
I'm
be
down.
cool.
I want to get press credentials or get a booth at Comic-Con.
We
man.
should get a booth at
at
Comic-Con.
Alamo City Comic-Con,
Yeah.
or even maybe we can even get a booth at SA Japan,
San Japan?
at San Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe do like Perfect Blue.
All
What do y'all think? Some Satoshi Kon? Do y'all even know who that is?
No, I don't.
Nope.
Bastards.
Sorry.
Call. I can forgive you, but these two should know who Satoshi Kon is. You two motherfuckers right here. I'll show you. I have sites to show you there. Definitely. Now, we were talking earlier that one glaring omission as far as the cameos is concerned is Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was actually approached to do this movie or not. It would have been awesome to have him, Leia, and Lando in this movie.
Yes.
Listen, Harrison Ford.
I was about to say,
Yo, we're
yeah.
asking me when is Harrison Ford coming
Where is
up?
he?
Oh,
where is he?
that would have been perfection right there, straight up perfection. But who would y'all have liked to see in this movie that's kind of even tangentially related to Star Wars fandom or just fandom in general?
I feel like George Lucas should have been in there.
You would think so, right?
I was really expecting to see him. I feel like he was probably planned to be in there, but they weren't able to make it work, so they kind of had to write in the phone conversation.
Yeah, it does seem a little tacked on there.
Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah. I felt like he was supposed to be in there.
Leonard
Yeah.
Nimoy would have been a good one too.
Oh, he would have been awesome, man. To have him show up after Shatner,
Yes.
They showed up together.
That'd
Yeah.
have been cool.
that would have been amazing, honestly. Or Uhura, Michelle Williams. That's her name?
Yes.
Yeah. Or Michelle Nichols.
Nichols, yeah.
My bad, everybody. See, I'm not, like I said, I'm not much of a Star Trek fan. I'm not much of a Star Wars fan. I gravitate towards both, and I get by. I get by, guys.
Well, Bo's a straight up cinemaphile, pure.
Oh yeah, and I can totally jam the Star Trek and Star Wars movies. I can totally jam those movies like straight up, like especially Wrath of Khan,
That was a good one.
That was pretty
The Voyage Home.
Voyage Home. What was that? The one with the
The
whales?
whales
Oh, I
in the
love
80s.
that one.
It's the most campiest one, but it's the best in my opinion.
Oh, it is. It's kind of like how with Friday the 13th, like Jason Takes Manhattan is kind of the best of that series because it's just so hokey and silly. And New York shows up, Manhattan itself shows up maybe for 10 minutes.
Yeah, we only see
We see Times Square.
Times Square. That's the only part we see, right?
And then just alleyways.
Yeah.
I swear that Times Square is the only, that sequence there, that's the only part of that movie where they actually stepped foot in New York City.
Are the most secure buildings on Earth. The White House, the Pentagon, the Kremlin, and George Lucas's Skywalker Ranch.
It started as the ultimate heist.
Linus laid the whole thing out in 5th grade.
What's your game plan?
We storm the ranch or we die trying.
This is a suicide mission.
It will become the ultimate road trip.
Strap in, fellas.
It may be crazy. Yeah! It may be dangerous.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah! Harry Knowles.
Which one of you's Windows?
I'm Windows. Nice to meet you.
Harry Knowles is kicking windows in.
But if you make the right connections,
It's all there. Maps, passcodes.
How did you score all this stuff?
Are you kidding? I'm William Shatner. I can score anything.
the possibilities
You want to take your shirt off?
As you wish.
Warm.
Dutch private convo.
Dude, get out of here. It's not a good time. The force is strong with me here.
are endless.
Somebody tell me what the damn red button's for.
It's light speed, kid.
Light speed. Yeah. Punch it!
Featuring Princess Leia, Lando Calrissian, Darth Maul, Shooter McGavin, the warehouse guy from The Office, the guy from Tropic Thunder, Jay, the guy from Die Hard 4, the hot chick from Sin City, and Captain James T. Kirk.
Friend of yours?
Fanboys.
Quick, into the garbage chute.
I have a bad feeling about this. You guys don't think that we are in George Lucas's trash room?
The walls are not going to close in on us.
With the $5 million budget.
Yeah, right? It's
which
like you
is
think
probably the
they
highest one, right?
say that again?
Probably the highest budget of
Yeah.
all the Jason movies.
Yeah. And you would think that they would have scouted some locations in New York
Yeah.
other than Times Square. I mean, what did they think that people weren't going to recognize the damn city?
It's like there's an MTV building right there.
Yeah, especially and that was still like 80s New York City,
Yeah.
you know. Not as gritty as 70s New York City, but still it was like New York City.
Hey, you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
Uh-huh.
Have y'all anybody been to New York City?
I would love to go. My
I was
sister's been there.
for a while.
We've been
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Col-
that's right. You've been to New York City.
Yep. Ash and I went
I've seen
like 3 or 4 years ago.
something like that.
Nice.
We
It
were
was my
there
birthday when I was there.
right before New Year's,
Mhm.
right before the ball dropped, but
Yep.
we didn't want to be packed.
No.
No, I wouldn't show up to any of those New Year's celebrations. Just looks like a lot more trouble than it's worth.
Cash said he was.
Oh, I'm sure
seen
he
the
was.
Ball drop.
Yep.
I'm sure he was. Yeah, that's our manager at work. I mean, he's hails from New York City. I mean, yeah, we mentioned Mark Hamill. We mentioned Stan Lee. He would have made a great cameo in this.
Yeah.
Just show up just to say Excelsior for a second.
Yeah.
But you know, I know that it's probably not entirely related to Star Wars or Star Trek or anything like that, but just because it has such a solid fandom, I would have liked to have seen Lloyd Kaufman in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the founder and director of many Trauma films.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Make 'em high,
like
Toxic
yeah, I know that
Avengers.
Ash remembers Hectic Knife.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Hectic
did a
Knife as
review
well.
of we did a review of a Trauma movie called Hectic Knife. Y'all can find it in season 1.
That was a lot of fun. That was my first podcast episode with you guys.
Yeah.
I did the commentary for The Room, and then I did that. And then my first numbered episode was Rocky.
Yeah. Man, those were good times. It's like, damn, that's already months ago.
I know.
I know, man. I
Where
mean,
does the time go? The passage of time.
Exactly. Passage of time, theme of this movie. Yeah, and the ending of this movie is kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Linus is dead, and everybody has kind of moved on in their own ways. Like, Kristen Bell and Homeboy end up hooking up, which honestly, I thought that they were going to have Huntington's character hook up with her.
So did I.
Honestly, so there's a little bit of misdirection there. Not like New Guy levels of misdirection, if y'all know what I'm talking about. The New Guy, DJ Qualls.
Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Nope.
Oh man, that's a movie we're gonna do on the podcast because that's a fun movie in its own
Guy
right.
from Road Trip.
Yeah. And there's a lot of great celebrity cameos in that movie as well. Like, that's a very interesting film. But once again, that's a movie for another time. Another time, y'all.
See, this is how you do celebrity cameos.
Exactly.
Listen up, Master of Disguise. This is how you do it.
Exactly, Master of Disguise. This is how you do that. You don't get fucking Bo Derek. Who the fuck even back then would have cared who Bo Derek is?
See,
don't
that's
even know
another
who Bo Derek
that's another theme of our podcast. We talk about Master of Disguise too.
Yeah, I know. That's becoming a worrying trend here. It's like we got to find another bad movie to rag on. like, soon.
Sometimes to know what's good, you have to know what's bad.
But you know, it's also like how Nietzsche said, you know, you stare into the abyss stares back at you. That's pretty much Master of Disguise.
It won't leave us alone.
No, it's a specter haunting this studio. I still have traumatic moments from it.
Every time I walk in here, I want to say, "Who's your daddy?"
Ugh!
Like I said,
I just knocked into the table. God damn it.
knowing what's bad and recognizing it makes you appreciate the good more.
Yeah.
Movies like this, Fanboys.
It really does. And since this movie has come out, it's already been another 10 years since this movie was released. Star Wars fandom has gone through a lot of changes, right? Like, especially with the series coming back after Disney bought it. Like, that's the first big change that happened, was Disney buying up the franchise.
But the Force Awakens did really well. I think some people complained that it was too parallel to the original, to A New Hope. But to other people, that's what made it work. Like for me. But then The Last Jedi is so divided.
Yeah, we saw that together, remember?
Fans are actually calling for it to be removed from the canon.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't get it. And the fandom's been so toxic ever since the prequels, actually.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you have people saying, George Lucas ruined my childhood. Well, first of all, George Lucas created that childhood that you're saying was ruined.
Exactly. He's the one who's responsible for that.
It's his universe, and he can do whatever he wants
Yeah,
with it.
and you can use that argument with any toxic market of any fandom that tries to say, oh, my childhood is ruined. It's like, no, you're just resistant to change or resistant to new ideas, you know? You're resistant to new portrayals in movies like this, you know, of different types of people.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not going to be exactly how you want it, but I think mainly that's not even the problem. I think people just hate change.
Yeah, period, honestly. But, I mean, the thing is, it's not like the original movies aren't still there, you know? That's the thing about that. I mean, it's kind of the same thing with Ghostbusters. Like, we all know how that debacle went down.
Oh, we had to do that one.
Oh, that was such a shit show. In so many ways. It was such an ill-advised movie, and not for the reasons that most of the knuckle draggers made it out to be. And yeah, that's right. I said knuckle draggers.
You're talking about the new one, the reboot?
Yeah, the reboot.
The one with Melissa McCartney.
Yeah, the all-female cast.
Yeah.
She's actually a good actor. I like Melissa McCarthy,
and
but
honestly,
that movie was kind of...
And honestly, that cast could have worked.
It could
had it had the right
Chris
script.
Hemsworth.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Hemsworth is great.
They
He
had
really is.
cameos in that one, too, of the original actors.
Yeah, but it's like they should have cameoed as the original Ghostbusters, though. That would have been perfect.
Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah.
Bill Murray, yes.
And it's a
Rick
damn
Moranis
shame.
Come back.
Say that again?
At least have Rick Moranis come back, right?
They did it
one time. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That would be.
Yeah, Rick Moranis. Like, let's say that he moved on to be like a politician or something, like a
Something
like
important.
a city. Like what?
Something important.
Yeah, like a city manager or something like that, or a city councilman. But he would still be pretty much the same Lewis, like straight up.
Of course.
Are you the gatekeeper?
I was just about to say that. The gatekeeper. Wasn't he also in Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Dark Helmet.
That's right.
And then, of course,
God.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was that one movie he did where it was like,
What is it?
it's like a shop with like a.
Oh, Little Shop of
Little
Horrors.
Shop of
There
Horrors.
you
That's
go.
right. He
Little
was in
Shop
that
of
one.
Horrors.
That was great.
Forgot about that one.
That's classic,
Little
and
Shop of
the
Horror.
the actual ending of that movie is pristine. They should never have
amazing.
changed it.
Honestly, we should do that one for the podcast.
Oh, he
We
was
should.
also like Barney in the Flintstones. Remember that?
Really?
yeah.
The original Flintstones with John Goodman.
John Goodman and inexplicably Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
I don't know why she was cast as Betty. That's miscasting all the way.
It's terrible.
Now, if they wanted to really do some interesting casting, they should have put Halle Berry as Betty Rubble.
Oh yeah,
That'd been funny.
she was in there. Yeah.
That would have been forward thinking right there. But, we don't have time for that bullshit, apparently. Especially not in the 90s. Oh, my God. So, speaking of that time period, how well do you think that whole countdown to the Phantom Menace is portrayed here? Like, I'm especially asking Robert because he's the only one other than me that was around at that time. So,
Yeah.
like, or at least here.
Guess
That's
we're
right. I looked at both of you.
just waiting.
Yeah, I
for
was
that.
around. I was 3 years old.
You were probably at least aware of it.
I couldn't wait for it to come out too. I mean, I remember going to try to pick up a Darth Maul from like KB Toys or Target, and you just couldn't find one. you know?
Yeah, that was kind of the same thing with lead up to The Force Awakens. Like there was a lot of like Kylo Ren stuff that was
Gone already before the
Gone
movie
already,
even
yeah.
came out, right?
yeah.
I grew up with the Phantom Menace and the originals together, and then I saw 2 and 3 in the theaters.
I'm old enough to remember the original cuts of Star Wars, and I'm old enough to remember going to Sears with my mom at the mall, and they had the original VHS release playing of like Empire Strikes Back playing on all these.
The gold and silver editions, right?
Yeah, they'd be playing on multiple televisions, stacked up and everything. And that was actually the first time that I ever saw the fight between Vader and Luke Skywalker on Cloud City. Like so that's actually the first time I ever saw that. The whole "I am your father"
Empire
thing.
Strikes Back.
Yeah, like that was the first time I ever saw that scene.
Yeah. I wish I could have been around for like the midnight releases for those movies. That'd have been a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
Because I miss that. Movie theaters used to do that. The midnight releases. Now it's like 7 on Thursdays or something.
oh, what the fuck is that?
I don't know what changed. There was something so special about being there at midnight. when you
Waiting
went
until midnight.
Yes, they had to wait off
Yeah.
of school. And this movie did a good job of that because they were like in the beginning when they had their party, it was like 6 months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then later they go to the actual countdown.
And that was a really interesting time, I mean, of course, we had no idea what was going to happen with this movie. I mean, there had been so much rumors and conjecture and all kinds of speculation over what was going to be in there that, everybody was just really, really, really ramped up for it. And when people I remember walking out of it thinking, it's a good movie. And even nowadays, I don't really think it's a bad movie to watch. It really isn't.
I think any of the flaws people try to apply to the prequels, they forget that the original was full of flaws and plot holes too.
Exactly.
But that's okay. It's good,
Yeah, Chief being the whole thing between Leia and Luke Skywalker. They kissed in the original movie, and then they're brother and sister.
Hey, at least it's not Game of Thrones where they're brother and sister, and you already know that.
And they're just
then-
going with it.
Oh, God.
First episode.
They just go with it. Fuck it. I still haven't really seen Game of Thrones, though.
I saw
Don't do
the
it.
first couple
It's a trap.
episodes.
What's up?
Don't do it. It's a trap. You'll get sucked in.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. It's a really good series. I think there was a little bit too much explicitity.
Yeah.
Kind of like they do things just for the shock of it.
Yeah, it was kind of unnecessary, but I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
And it was a good show, good story. I like
For
it.
sure. That's another fandom right there that really grew into prominence. And
especially the last few years.
Especially. And I don't discount it. I just haven't been interested in it.
There's some good characters, you know.
Yeah.
Kit Harington's character,
I think
Jon Snow.
I watched like one episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And who else was in it? Oh, Sean Bean, that it was.
Once again, I'm going to go to Robert here. In hindsight, how do you think the way that period of time is portrayed in this movie looks in comparison to real life?
Looks about the same. The
Yeah.
movie was like 2009.
Yeah, and that was only 10 years removed, 10 or
Yeah.
11 years removed from the release of Phantom Menace.
It looked too different because we didn't even get like iPhones till 2010 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yes, the gentleman in the beige.
I was wondering, what did Sulu find in Captain Kirk's lavatory?
Sulu clearly found a standard issue Starfleet Z-23 personal refuse device.
I believe it was a captain's log.
Very good. A laugh a day, keep the doctor away, everyone. We've been saved. Ooh, any other comic relief? Ah! They're still homeless out there.
Hey!
Yes, what? You? What? Yes.
What is the Klingon translation for "You're gonna die a virgin"?
Rachsilmanto. Yep, that's what, okay. Hilarious, everyone. Looks like we got more Lucas hounds here to mock Roddenberry. Congratulations, gentlemen, but I would like to see your Darth Vader take on one Borg drone. We'll see who's laughing then, am I right?
Darth Vader could put the entire Borg collective in a vice grip with his mind.
Darth Vader has asthma, so name me one Star Trek character with a respiratory disease, because I'm drawing a blank.
Name me one Star Wars character who's gay.
Yeah.
Besides you.
Well, I know it's gay in Star Trek, so why would I even do that?
Captain Picard.
Okay, Captain Picard is not gay, he's British.
Come on, make it so.
Well, I hate to break it to you losers, but Han Solo's a bitch.
Oh, no. I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Is there a problem here?
Yeah, there sure is, Spock. The Admiral here just called Han Solo a bitch.
Good one.
It's pretty strong words for a Trekkie.
Okay, a Trekkie is derogatory at this point in the game. Trekker is what we're called now. Trekker.
Oh, I'm sorry. Trekkie. Let's just take a look, see what's with the man purse.
Yep. As I thought, scanner reads douchebag.
Oh, I mean, I think that there was the first generation in like mid to late 2000s of iPhones. So
No, it was iPods. Right?
yeah, there were iPods and then
Well, yeah, it
iPhone
was
came later.
iPods.
The beginning credits, the movie says sent from my iPhone, so it must have been after the first iPhone.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, that's right.
I remember my first phone was actually an iPhone, and I was
Really?
12.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah, it was 2012.
You know,
That's right.
And you know, strangely enough, Apple fandom is its own thing as well.
Yeah, I'm part of that fandom.
Yeah, that's a fandom in its own right. That's what's funny about that. But yeah, I mean, to me, all these years later, like, it just ends up making me feel nostalgic first. But, you know, also, like I said, I don't go one way or the other, Star Trek or Star Wars. I like them. So I don't really have a dog in that fight.
I like them both. I have to say I maybe like Star Trek just a little bit more because it's a little more intellectual. And then Doctor Who I like even more than that. But I love all of them. I consider myself a part of all of those fandoms.
I love a good sci-fi. There's nothing, nothing wrong with that.
Have y'all ever gotten into any type of hardcore geek conversations with Star Wars and Star Trek nerds over any of this stuff? Yeah, it's best to avoid, right?
Yeah, maybe on Reddit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Reddit, though, they have some subreddits that, you know, they very much criticize that toxic fandom, like movie circle jerk.
Well, I follow the prequel memes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
You gotta be careful on Reddit.
Yeah, it's no 4chan, but there's some fucking unruly people there. I mean, and sometimes the mods can be on point. Sometimes they can be a little just depends.
R/the Donald is still up.
Yeah, that speaks volumes, right?
Yeah, but anything's better than Tumblr now.
Tumblr is the fandom site. What are you talking about?
They don't allow adult content anymore.
They took all the porn and all the sex.
That was huge.
And now sex workers can't safely peddle their wares in privacy and in peace.
Yeah, I saw this
It's
one
wrong.
post where Tumblr had blocked out one of their own posts. It was really funny because they have like this terrible bot that's running the adult content one.
Yeah,
That's
Tumblr,
crazy.
it's just fandoms and porn, and they got rid of the porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what next? Are they going to remove /B from 4chan? Because that would actually be a good idea. I actually support that. On second thought.
Just get rid of the whole NSFW part.
Yeah, right. That or /poll.
Yes.
Well, definitely /poll. Oh, God.
I don't spend any time on 4chan.
I used to a few years ago before it became truly cancerous.
Yeah, nothing good can come out of 4chan.
No, nothing good. Nothing good at all. Now, what do y'all think is in store for Star Wars and its fandom in the next coming years? What do you think is in store for all of that?
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate?
You're right. You'll get those few that come out and they always say something. I think the next movie, Episode 9, whatever they call it, I think that'll probably be a little bit better received because you've got J.J. Abrams back as director, and some of the problems that Last Jedi created, which I'll acknowledge are story problems, could totally not be problems depending on how the next one's written.
Right on. And hopefully the fandom won't go completely apeshit over anything, because in the end, it's like what the theme song to Mystery Science Theater 3000 said. Just repeat to yourself, it's just a show, and you should really just relax. Just fucking relax, people. In the end, yeah, it's great to have these dialogues about the movies that we love, the properties that we love, but in the end, we have to keep things in perspective.
Yeah. I mean, you asked for the movie. You wanted the prequels. And
Yeah.
here they are. If you don't like them, walk out the door.
Exactly. And it's the same with the new movies as well.
Yeah.
Which, once again, I don't really have a dog in that fight, but I mean, and I can understand why some people would be opinionated about it, but I can also totally understand how there could be a toxic element to everything
I think
here.
just be happy there still is more Star Wars, that it's still going on, you know? Be happy there's new content. And if you just absolutely dislike it, then don't watch it.
Yeah, the
watch your
legacy
original
continues,
trilogy
you know.
and your favorite expanded universe components. That can be your own canon. That's the whole point of the fandom, is that you watch all of it and you decide what you like. You're the owner of that.
Yeah.
You know, the legacy goes on. It continues.
Yeah.
It's still going.
Solo.
Just watch it.
Yeah, Solo flopped really, really hard, but I heard that it was at least somewhat okay. I mean,
I liked it.
It had reshoots out the ass, but, you know,
Yeah.
never a good sign. Never a good sign at all.
Spoiler alert. Han Solo dies.
Yeah, he does. Spoiler alert.
How you guys doing? You guys doing good? So let me get this right. You guys wanted to see our movie early, for free. So you broke into private property, huh? And you tried to steal it. I haven't even seen the movie yet.
Sir, I understand that this looks bad.
It looks like 3 to 5 years locked up for breaking and entering bad. That's right, sweet cheeks. By the time you all walk away from this, your faces are gonna be shrunken and shriveled just like your one nut. What?
How can you possibly know that?
Oh, we know about your Uniball. We know everything, Mr. Harold Hutchinson, AKA Hutch, son of Gloria, humongous Rush fan.
Dude, you're freaking me out, man. How do you know this?
Because you have a Rush shirt on, dipshit. And because we have a dossier on every single one of you. No one move. Get your hands off the glass table. Hello, Mr. Lucas.
George! Hey, George!
Shut up! Your mouth. Yes.
I can hear his beard.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I don't want to say that it was a hole in my security, but how did you guys break in?
I used a grappling hook.
Was William Shatner involved with this?
No, not at all.
They said no. No one was hurt. Not yet. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very well. Damn it. I've just been told that what I said earlier I no longer believe. Mr. Lucas is touched and mildly flattered by what you have done here, and I have been informed that I feel the same way. So the charges are going to be dropped.
Oh, yeah.
That is, of course, if you are what you appear to be.
Wait, what do we appear to be?
Fanboys. Something we can easily determine with a simple quiz. What is the name of the planet that Leia gave Grand Moff Tarkin as the false location of the Rebel base in Episode 4?
Dantooine.
What is the name of the gunner in Luke's snowspeeder?
Dak.
Where is a woman's G-spot located?
What?
If you were to ask a woman to perform a Mississippi handbag, where would your testicles end up?
That's not a Star Wars question.
I didn't say the nipples, I said the little bumps around the nipples.
Yar.
That is not a Louisiana pile driver, but you wouldn't know about that, would you? Virgin.
Areola borealis? Near the bumps?
That's what you do. You aim for the eye, grab the lip, lead her around the room, blinding the Marlin.
God, you're sexy and well-versed. I like it. Oh! Okay, guards!
That's okay.
That's
all right, I got
hold
it.
it.
All right.
Well, guys, I think now is the time to start wrapping this up. What is everybody's final thoughts? Let's start with Robert.
I just thought it was a good movie when it came out, and I still got my original copy right here.
Yeah, you got the original 2009 release of Fanboys right in your hands.
And I'm just glad I showed it to you guys.
Yeah, and I'm glad
Wanted
that,
y'all to see this.
I'm glad that you brought it to the podcast. I mean, this is something that we kind of needed. You know, we needed to kind of address some things about, you know, Star Wars and its fandom, and this movie kind of relates to that in so many ways. And like I said, in some cases, it's even kind of prophetic with what was coming. Because I mean, it was very similar. That period before Phantom is very similar to the period before Force Awakens. You know, that whole build up. I see a lot of similarity there.
I see the parallel, definitely.
Yeah, and I mean, Ash, what are your final thoughts?
Oh man, I had a blast with this movie. It made me laugh. It made me tear up a little bit, and it related to me on a personal level. You know, I've always been a geek. I've always been a fan. Star Wars is my shit.
Yeah.
I was along for the ride, and I really enjoyed the experience.
Right on, right on. And Dakota?
Just like The Room gave us an excuse. I'm sorry, The Disaster Artist gave us an excuse to talk about The Room. This movie, you know, gives us an excuse to like nerd out, geek out. You know,
just in general, right?
Yeah. It was a good movie, and all the cameos were every single time I knew an actor, I was like, "Oh, look who it is! It's William Shatner."
Yeah, that was awesome.
Mind blown. You know, we were expecting some characters, and we didn't get them, but
yeah,
it was all right. It was a good movie.
Hell yeah, it was. I mean, I liked the cast. I also liked the cameos. I mean, Ash, you're totally correct. Master Disguise, this is how you do cameos.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like, they have to actually be even remotely related to what's going on in the movie.
Yeah.
And they have to kind of want to be there as well. Which you can tell that a lot of those cameos, they had a lot of fun.
William Shatner looked like he was having a blast.
Oh, yeah.
Carrie Fisher, Billy D. Williams.
Yeah, they all did. They all did. And I just love the story. It's so bittersweet. I mean, it's focused on these friends who drift apart, and then, unfortunately, a bit of a tragic situation brings them back together, and they just make the best of it.
See, that's life for you. Some people will say that the purpose of life is to find happiness, but sometimes it's a little bit beyond that. You know, there's things that connect us together that aren't always happy, and I think to find that purpose, to find that meaning, that's life.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what Ash said.
Well said.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I love this movie. I'm definitely going to buy it for my collection. And the next episode is going to be our 1-year anniversary episode. Woo. Yeah, we have, as of January, I think middle of January, I'm not sure the exact date. I'll have to look on the Podbean page. Like, we did Audition by Takashi Miike, and we're doing Ichi the Killer on this episode. And Ichi the Killer is a movie that you guys are going to love. Like, y'all showed me As the Gods Will.
Beautiful.
Which is an awesome movie. And Takashi Miike, he nailed it on that one. He's a director with a very, very wide canon of films. Like, he literally has over 100 works. There was a period where he was making almost like 20 movies a year.
Damn.
10 or 20 movies a year. Like, he's ridiculous. But his movies are classics in so many different ways, and Ichi the Killer is just it's pretty much like a grindhouse exploitation Yakuza movie. And it goes hard, y'all. It goes hard.
I'm ready.
Yeah, if y'all thought Audition was something, Ichi the Killer is something.
My body is Reggie.
God damn it. But that's going to be a lot of fun. Like, who knows? Maybe we can even get Mr. Joseph Cantu on one of the mics. Hopefully, if he's listening, maybe he could be part of this. Since
Just do some soft
He was on
beatboxing in the background.
The original.
Yeah, he was on the original episode. Yeah, he was on the original episode. And we're going to go ahead and finish up here. Thank you for listening to us. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and anywhere else where you can find your podcasts. You can find us on Chill Lover Radio, of course. And we are starting to push our Patreons in our Podbean Patron account as well. On our Podbean Patron, we have at least one commentary up for The Room. I think it's like $5 if you want to listen to it. And if you wanted a free example of our commentaries, check out our Food Fight commentary, which we have for free in our Season 1 lineup. And we're also going to start putting some more content on Patreon. I think we're either going to do a video or a live stream first.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, a little something so that most of the people that follow us on Twitter can come and just hang out with us or something like that.
Ask us questions, whatever you want.
And we'll get some more commentaries on the Patron Podbean.
On the Podbean Patron, yeah.
I really want to do Freddy Got Fingered with you guys.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a coming commentary track.
Yeah,
That's coming soon from Collateral Cinema right there, ladies and gentlemen. And hopefully we will have a wonderful 2019. Like, this is our first episode of the year, and so far I had fun here, guys.
Yeah,
this was great.
Hey guys, next week after the release of this, Collateral Gaming is also coming back, and we decided to kick it off with a collaboration with Collateral Cinema.
That's right. We are going to be on the Collateral Gaming podcast on the mics this time. And it's going to be interesting. We're doing Infamous, right?
No. Infamous is going to be our regular episode.
Oh, okay.
I decided to pick something that's both a movie and a game for
that's
our
right,
collaboration.
That's right.
And that's going to be Black Mirror Bandersnatch, which we're going to watch. I'm going to show you tonight, right after we wrap up here.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm actually very intrigued by that. It's almost like a choose-your-own-adventure type movie.
That's exactly what it is.
Which, honestly, is fantastic if you're a Futurama fan. You'll know the reference that I'm talking about. It's like, oh my God, they actually made that real. Oh my God, it's like, wow, choose-your-own-adventure movies. Who'd have thunk it?
Check that out when that comes out. And then bi-weekly after that, we'll start releasing our episodes, starting with Infamous Second Son. So, yeah, guys, go follow Collateral Gaming as well.
Yeah, definitely. Follow them. Follow their Patreon. I'm sure they're going to start putting some content on there very soon.
Yeah, we're going to get the Let's Play for Fable done on there.
Nice.
And then next we're doing Breath of the Wild as a commentary. So
that's what's up, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm Bo Maddox.
I'm Rob Ortega.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
I'm Dakota Chancellor.
We are out. Collateral Cinema is an L Company production. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators. Please don't sue us. We're poor.